ASMR list. 20 lies that grew out of control, according to Reddit. Number 20. When I was dating my husband, his mom wanted us to stay the night. I really didn't want to. I told her I needed to go home, and due to not feeling well, I thought I had a fever. She offers me Tylenol, and I said I couldn't have it because I was allergic. I'm not sure why I said it. Anyway, my husband overhears it, and I later didn't want to tell him that I lied to his mom. We're married now, and I recently had to go to the ER due to breaking a bone, and was in so much pain that I couldn't speak. He told the nurse that I was allergic to Tylenol, and he then went to my surgery and doctor's appointment with me, and we had to continue saying that I was allergic to Tylenol. My Tylenol allergy is now all over my medical records. Number 19. I had to use my mom's van for a semester in my second year of university. One of my classmates saw it and started giving me shit for it. He asked, "What, are you a single mom now?" So I decided to go with it and said, "No, my wife passed away and I'm a single father with twin daughters." He got pretty apologetic, and I thought that was that. That is until he started asking me about them every class period. I panicked and kept the lie going, even printing out a stock photo of twin girls to put in my wallet. To this day, I still get messages from him asking how the twins are doing. They just celebrated their 7th birthday and love soccer and school. Oh boy. Number 18. What's a potato will always win. Today, I fucked up by enraging the parents of my girlfriend by pretending not to know what a potato is. Let me tell you that I have made a bad mistake this evening. My girlfriend, who, let me tell you, is only the second girlfriend of all time, said I am invited to dinner with her and her parents. I was very aghast, nervous, and bashful to be invited to such a situation, but I knew it must be done. I met them nicely, I should tell you, and it started off in a good way. The idea slapped my mind that I should do a comic bit to make a good impression and become known to them as a person who is amusing. When I saw that baked potatoes were being served, I got the idea that it would be very good if I pretended I did not know what potatoes was. That would be funny. Well, let me tell you, backfired on my face. I'll tell you how. So first, when the potato became on my plate, I acted very interesting. I showed an expression on my face so as to seem that I was confused, astounded, but in a restrained way, curious and interested. They did notice and seemed confused, but did not remark. So I asked, "This looks very interesting. What is this?" They stared at me, and the mother said, "It's a baked potato." And I was saying, "Oh, interesting. A baked, what is it again?" And she's like, "A potato." And I was like, "A potato. Oh, interesting. Never heard of a potato. Looks pretty good." And then they didn't see that I was clowning, but thought that I really did not know what a potato was, so I knew I was going to be very ashamed, humiliated, depressed, and disgusted if I admitted to making a bad joke. So what I did was to act as if it was not a joke, and I committed to the act of pretending that I did not know what a potato is. They asked me, very incredulous, did I really not know what a potato is? That I had never heard of a potato? I went with it and told them yes, I did not ever even hear of a potato. Not only had I never eaten a potato, I had never heard the word potato. This went on for a bit and my girlfriend was acting very confused and embarrassed by my fucked up antics. And then the more insistent I was about not knowing what a potato was, when the parents started thinking I did know what a potato was. Well, let me tell you, I had to commit 100% at this point. When I would not admit to knowing what a potato was, the father especially began to get annoyed. At one point, he said something to the effect of, "Enough is enough. You're fucking with us, admit it." And I said, "Sir, before today, I never heard of a potato. I still don't know what a potato is, other than some kind of food. I don't know what to tell you." Well, let me tell you, he got very annoyed. I decided to take a bite of the potato, and when I did, I made a high-pitched noise and said, "That's very strange." That is when the father started yelling at me, and the mother kept saying, "What are you doing?" And my girlfriend went to some other room. Finally, the father said, "Get the fuck out of this house." And I said it was irrational to treat me like this just because I had never heard of a potato before. Well, let me tell you, he didn't take that kindly. Now, in text messages, I have been telling my girlfriend I really don't know what a potato is. The only way that I can get out of this is for them to buy that I don't know what a potato is. I wish I never started it, but I can't go back now. She'll break up with me anyway. Number 17. Used to get my nails done when I lived in China with a friend. We told very elaborate lies about our rich husbands and my useless boyfriend to the ladies who did our nails as a way to practice vocabulary in Mandarin. I was leaving in like a few months, so it was easy, but she had to find pictures of babies and weddings and dresses to use. I just had to remember that my BF was a doctor and probably cheating on me, and she had to choose baby names. Okay. Number 16. An older man at the church I go to misheard my name as Rachel. When I tried to correct him, he didn't hear my actual name. He later had his wife approach me and ask me my name, and I just said Rachel, thinking it would be fine. They told the entire church my name was Rachel, and it stuck. I'm 8 years into this Rachel lie in a church. Great. Number 15. I told my friends I was colorblind due to only the color orange. For some reason, they all believed me and would point out orange things to me and laugh at me, while my girlfriend and I would be laughing on the inside. Number 14. Told my husband when we first met that he couldn't talk to my grandparents because they only spoke German. They did speak a lot of German, but their English was fine. I just didn't want them to know I was seeing an Irish Catholic guy. They were both very strict Lutherans. Now I'm 20 years into the marriage, and so screwed. Number 13. I told my wife I was starting to like Grey's Anatomy because she watched it so much, but now she waits for me so I can watch new episodes with her. Ooh. Number 12. Years ago, Canada beat the United States in the Olympics in hockey. I had a couple of coworkers that had been gloating about how the US was gonna kick those Canadians' asses for a week beforehand, so naturally I teased them the day after the Canadians won. "What, are you Canadian or something?" Actually, yes. I have a dual citizenship. They told a bunch of other coworkers and it spread around, and I had to look up Canadian facts to keep my story straight. You liars. Number 11. My boyfriend, now husband, told me that he went to grad school but never graduated. I found out around 10 years into us dating that It was a giant lie that he had said to impress me. The only reason he came clean was his mother found out and told me. Number 10. When I was 10, another kid on my school bus asked me if I played World of Warcraft. I lied and said yes. I spent the entire rest of the year before and after school on the bus talking about a game that I had never played in my life. One day I was invited over and he made me log in. I entered some account and claimed I forgot my password, spending the next 30 minutes trying to debug and reset a password to an account that doesn't exist. Oh my God, what was I doing? Number 9. I lied about being able to play piano. I never thought it would come up that I was safe with my lie. It did come up, more often than I thought it would. I had to make up an excuse to not play, and people started to think I was lying about how to play. Eventually, I took some lessons so that way if it came up again, I could actually play something and not look like I'm completely full of shit, and it paid off. After I moved from that area, I never told anyone I could play the piano again. Oh my God. Number 8. I'm not sure if this counts, but the front desk girl at my gym has been calling me Justin for like 6 years. My name isn't Justin. My name isn't Justin either. Number 7. I once got sort of unapproved access to a VIP area at a venue. The person who got me in probably would have gotten in trouble if it was found out what they had done. When people asked why I was there, I said I was related to the owner of the venue. Instead, this really nice group of people started complimenting me on the venue and talking to me more about it and my family. They were really awesome people, and we chatted for the rest of the evening, and they invited me to spend the upcoming holiday weekend at their beach house with the band. I did. No one ever found out that I have no connection to the venue and don't even know who actually owns it. Intriguing. Number 6. In college, a group of people I didn't know well were talking about this guy that they'd gone to school with who looked exactly like me, to the point that they were convinced that I was him, and I was just fucking with them, pretending to be someone else. The only difference was that my doppelganger wore glasses, and I didn't. So in order to fuck with them for a little bit, I said that I'd worn glasses in high school, but don't anymore. I'd never worn glasses. One of the people there that I did know well remembered what I'd said and didn't believe me, so the next time that she bumped into my best friend from high school, she asked whether or not I wore glasses. He backed me up instantly. I figured he just figured something was up and decided to back me up. A decade later, with the acquisition of good vision insurance, I had my eyes checked and actually did wind up getting glasses with a very mild prescription. Upon seeing me with them for the first time, my best friend said, "Oh, wow. I haven't seen you with glasses on since high school." I've never been sure whether he backed me up and then somehow internalized that backup and then really believed that I wore the glasses in high school, or whether he was just always somehow believing that I had worn glasses in high school. I've chosen to use it to very subtly fuck with him by photoshopping glasses onto my face and old pictures that he's going to see. I did it recently when his sister asked me for some photos to use for his upcoming wedding, and it'll probably never actually pay off, but I privately think it's hilarious. Number 5. When I was in 6th grade, my buddy and I attempted to skip school. We planned that the next day he would stay home sick. I would use the landline phone that I had in my room, which had a hold feature, to tie up the line all day till the school couldn't get a hold of my mom, who worked from home. This is obviously long before cell phones were a thing, and I would go to my buddy's house and we would play Sega Genesis all day. So it turns out that phones don't work like that. We're hanging out and suddenly I hear a car outside. I run downstairs and hide while my buddy answers the door to my crying mother, who asks if he's seen me. He lies and says no, and when she goes, I come up and decide that I'm in big trouble and need to cover it. I plan to say some teenagers from nearby high school were picking on me and chased me around a neighborhood I didn't know very well. I head home and run into my dad, who is looking for me. I give him the story and he seems to buy it. He takes me home where my mom is, and we phone the police. She had my school picture out and is crying. She puts me on the phone and makes me tell the story to the cop. He sounds skeptical, but he accepts the story. My mom is happy that I wasn't abducted by serial rapists. She then asks if I want to go back to school in the afternoon. I say I do. But at school I get grilled by my teacher and principal. My friend informs me the entire school went on lockdown when I was missing because of the potential abduction. I had to keep going with the teenagers story for years. I finally told my mom years later when I was an adult, and she was pretty mad. But I was past getting in trouble for it. Number 4. Not me, but my hairdresser told me this a few months ago, and I couldn't stop laughing. A few years ago, this girlfriend, at the time, went on vacation to a sort of resort somewhere in Spain. On the first day of arriving, they got to talking to another couple that they met in the hotel, and just for a joke, he pretended to be American by putting on an accent. He said that he wasn't sure why he did it. He was just goofing around, and he thought he'd never see these people again, so it was just a throwaway thing. However, they ended up being pretty good friends with this couple, and saw quite a lot of them over the course of the vacation. I guess it would have been too embarrassing/weird to come clean and tell them the truth, so he just had to go with it, put on an American accent every time that he saw them for a week. In addition to this, he was also going through some problems in his relationship, so basically spent the whole trip either arguing with his girlfriend or having to get in character and pretend to be American for no reason other than his own stupidity. He said it was the worst vacation of his life and was more stressful than being at home. Oh, God. Brilliant. Number 3. Last year, on the first day of a month-long rotation in medical school, I was telling a story and accidentally referred to my dog as my daughter. Quickly did mental evaluation of how embarrassing it would be to correct myself versus rolling with it, and just decided to go with it and pretended that I have a kid for the rest of the month. I didn't like purposely bringing it up or something, but if someone mentioned it, I would just vaguely agree and not elaborate on anything. Bing bong. Number 2. There was a guy who I used to work with at a corporate chain steakhouse while I was going to college that had a bit of a whopper. We stayed up all night partying, and he didn't wake up in time for his opening shift the following day. When he finally got up, he was 2 hours late and had to get a grip of missed calls. He was about a month away from graduating and had worked the same job all through college, so he was worried that he was going to get fired and wouldn't be able to use the job reference, so his solution was to call in and tell the boss that he had been in a car accident on his way to work. Now, this temporarily solved the problem, but to really sell the story, he ended up hiding his truck in a friend's garage and working his next 4 weeks of serving shifts with a fake full-arm cast. Brandon, You're a fucking legend. I hate that name. To anybody who's listening who has that name, donate to me. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Number 1 on the list of 20 lies that grew out of control. Reads, long ago, the Discovery Channel had a Prehistoric Pig. It aired April 1st, and being a 12-year-old who was smart and knew how to think critically, I assumed it was a joke that was put on by the channel. A few months later, they re-aired the special, and my dad happened to be watching it, and the nerd that he is called me in excitedly to show me this Prehistoric Pig program. I scoffed and said, "Dad, it's fake. It was made for April Fools." And now they're showing it again. "Oh," he said, and laughed and laughed. But here's the thing. I was wrong. The show was about a real animal that really existed, and I discovered this a few years later on the internet. But by now, my dad had started using these fake giant pigs as conversation starters. Not only that, but he's flipped the story a bit. Now he's the one who saw the show on April 1st. And 23 years later, the man still brings up the fucking show because he thinks the idea of what he calls dinosaur pigs is hilarious. I thought of telling him, but it's too deep now. I go to my grave with this one. There's that list. Thanks for listening.